From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, that heat is making its presence known, and we felt it today for many areas, especially in the valley. And we saw the basically excessive heat watch that I was mentioning this morning for the valley that was upgraded to an excessive heat warning later this morning and into the afternoon hours. Now, we also have all these heat advisories that were issued as well, including Modoc, Siskiyou County, Trinity County. But we don't really have any of these advisories for the eastern mountains, but that may change. And that doesn't mean it's not going to be hot there. It just means it's not going to be quite as hot, maybe. The thing is, I have a feeling that we're probably going to see some kind of watch or warning for the eastern mountains. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. But there is a look at that heat risk. This is coming in from the National Weather Service. This is kind of an algorithm that they put together to kind of talk about just how dangerous the heat may be. It takes into account the time of the year and what our typical temperature is for that time of the year as well. So there you can see here we have a lot of oranges and reds, especially for the valley. That's in the moderate to major risk. Now watch what happens as we go into Saturday. We're getting more into the reds here, indicating more of a major risk, but at least we're not in that extreme category just yet. But bottom line, we've got our first major heat wave of the season, and we're beginning to feel it. We already felt it today with a high of 101 for Redding and Red Bluff. Chico, though, was much cooler at about 93, 95 for Willows. But even the mountains, I mean, Weaverville, Hayfork, 91. El Turris, much cooler at 80 degrees, 82 for Susanville. So again, this is kind of an indication of why we don't have that advisory just yet. But when we look at the daytime highs and the 7-day forecast for the eastern mountains, you'll see it's going to get pretty hot there too. So we definitely need to take those precautions. Now, where we typically see the cooler temperatures, obviously along the coast, around 60 degrees for those temperatures today. But don't forget the sunscreen. You know, a lot of times we talk about the heat and keeping yourself cool and drinking plenty of water, but you need to use SPF 30 or higher, and it's good to, reapply it every 2 hours, especially when you swim, because after you swim, of course, it comes off, especially after your towel off. But spend time in the shade and wear light, loose-fitting clothes for maximum protection. This right here isn't very light, and especially in my hot studio, it doesn't really help either. All right, so here's the deal. This is our first significant heat wave of the season. The heat wave will peak on Saturday, but then those temperatures will start to drop. It's going to drop, but it'll still be hot out there, all right? So let's take a look at our planner. And you can see here, for the North Coast, we do have mostly cloudy skies. That's going to continue for Eureka and Crescent City. Hoopa, sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-90s. And for the valley, we're going to be looking at sunny skies, temperatures over 100 degrees. 104 for Redding, 104 for Red Bluff and Chico, about 102 degrees. There's a look at the mountains, and we've got those temperatures in the upper 90s. It's getting warmer even for places like Weaverville, but Wairika, Mount Shasta City in the low to mid-90s. And for the East Mountains, we're going to be in the low to mid-90s as well. But at least we're breaking away from the showers and thunderstorms. But that wasn't the case today. We still saw the low pressure to our east. That counterclockwise, rotation around that low brought that shower and thunderstorm activity in the eastern mountains. So as we zoom in tighter, you can see some of the showers we saw. We just didn't really see any lightning strikes. So that's in the last 6 hours. So that's pretty much the situation we got with those showers. We're finally going to see those break apart by the time we do get into tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow afternoon and evening, we're just going to see a couple of clouds develop, but no rain, no thunderstorms, and that'll be the case for your Friday as well. By the way, we're still seeing a lot of the low clouds for the coast, but we could start to see some better chances for clearing by the time we do get into the latter part of the week. So there's that bubble of heat, that bubble of hot air that will be over us going into Saturday. That's the peak of the heat wave. That hotter air dives down to the south. And the reason being, we're actually going to watch a very weak trough of low pressure develop for early next week. Now what that's going to do is push that heat to the south, and it's going to linger around, and that's going to allow our temperatures to drop even more. And it may be just strong enough for us to see another round of mountain thunderstorms by the time we get to the middle to latter part of next week. But let's talk about that heat again, because we look at the above normal temperatures. We're well within the oranges here. But look what happens when we go to the next 8 to 14 days. We're seeing the lighter shades of orange, indicating that, yes, those temperatures are going to start to drop. But it'll probably still be above normal for this time of the year. So tonight we're in the mid to upper 60s for the valley, and in the 50s for most of us in the higher elevations. Low 50s out along the coast. Take a look at our forecast for tomorrow. Yeah, there's that heat. I mean, we're seeing those deeper reds in the valley now. 104 for Redding, 102 for Chico. But, you know, I was mentioning it's going to get hot even for the eastern mountains. Susanville about 90, 94 degrees for Quincy. Weaverville, Hayfork about 97. But yeah, very nice along the coast, right? 62 degrees for Eureka and 64 in Crescent City. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast for your Thursday. Temperatures are going to be in the low 90s. So Mount Shasta City about 92, 86 for El Tourist, and 90 for Susanville. But see the temperatures increasing, peaking on Saturday. And your 4th of July, temperatures should be in the low to mid 90s for the north and eastern mountains. For Redding, there's the peak of the heat wave. We are already looking at a high of about 104 degrees on Monday. And for your 4th of July, still pretty hot. About 102 degrees as a matter of fact. 97 for Weaverville, and of course for the coast. That's where you can go to cool offs. Temperatures are warming up there too though, in the mid 60s by Saturday and Sunday, and keeping that way into early next week.